Thank you. So a very successful Night of Stars took place in October 2021, and I know many of you have attended virtually. In spite of COVID, we launched an improvement campaign which aims to raise $2 million Barbados dollars to fund the priority projects identified by both schools. So our fundraising efforts began in earnest at that grand reunion. The producing of the commemorative publication that we're celebrating today is intended to serve as a major contributor to our efforts and has truly been a labor of love. Grant Norris, an alumnus of Harrison College and a member of the executive of HCQC AA Toronto, suggested a commemorative publication to help raise those much needed funds. And as he is the publisher of the very successful Beyond Rum and Saltfish, a compendium of bios of Barbadians in Canada, which was issued for the 50th Barbados Independence Observances, he proposed the initiative, which the steering committee embraced. And I have to say, off to the races, Grant went. With the tireless work by Anson John and Mary Simmons and others, bios were collected over an 18-month period. Articles about the schools were written, and today, with Grant's persistent leadership, stands this masterpiece. I am going to attempt to lift it. But I would suggest if you suffer from back pain problems, don't try. 616 pages is in this book. And many of you will be walking home with a copy tonight. But unfortunately, we don't have door prizes where you can win one. It was worth the effort to put this whole thing, the whole book together. So 300 copies were printed, and we're happy to say that we're sold out for the copies allocated in Barbados. So congrats to all of you for buying the book. And so this afternoon, we celebrate the birth of this historic publication, which will serve many purposes going forward. It is inspirational, it is motivational, and as you thumb through the publication, you will be taken, as I was, with the inordinate number of accomplished alumni across all disciplines in the world that are showcased in this book. So you've been very patient, and let me just tell you how our afternoon will unfold. We will begin by celebrating our schools in song. Some of you, I hope, will remember this school song. And some of you, if you don't, you can come along. There will be 4 readings from the book, because of course it's a book launch, so you have to have readings from the book. And a presentation of copies to both schools, because we think this will be an invaluable asset to the libraries. And finally, we will hear from Rudolph Catlin, president of the Old Harrisonian Society, as he talks about the celebrations for the 290th anniversary of Harrison College. So it is all the bios of our presenters are taken from the book. So when I'm introducing the presenters, the extracts from their bios will be used. And you will get then to see the breadth and depth of alumni that both schools have produced. It is truly, truly inspiring and jaw-dropping. For those of you who have pre-ordered your copy, you will be able to pick it up at the desk over there where Roma Cozier is sitting. For those of you who would like to order, we will be happy to take your order. A few of our ushers are over there as well, and to help take your orders. We anticipate it will take about 3 to 4 months for the next batch of books to be available in Barbados, because that timeline includes collecting up to 200 orders, requiring the reprint, printing, shipping, and delivering. So it will be a 3-month waiting period. After today's formal proceedings, we invite you to enjoy some light refreshments courtesy of Peter Owl and Island Caterers as you mingle and catch up with old friends. And the emphasis is on light refreshments. So, ladies and gentlemen, we've been sitting for a while. Let's stand. First of all, let's welcome Harrison College School Song.
I was trying to bring your attention to the fact that Elizabeth comes to the deputy editing person.
Wow, that was a very rousing rendition by the people in the video. So now we are going to join in the QC song, and I bet you it's going to take the roof off this building. All right, gotcha.
Under
right. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. You may sit. I think Gerald Hudson would love to know that we've said carry the lights. I'd just like to say I'd like to welcome Sir, excuse me, Sir Trevor Carmichael. And of course, I would like to also welcome to our event this evening, Senator Elizabeth Thompson, member of the Senate. Thank you very much for being here. Okay, that school song still has the ability to give me goosebumps, but the umbrella organization, though, would not exist today were it not for the vision of Mary Simmons, president of HCQC AA New York. Mary Simmons graduated from Queens College in 1969 and is a born leader and pioneer, always pushing the envelope and has an insatiable appetite for detail. Boy, can we tell you that is absolutely true. At 11 o'clock, we're on Zoom calls. She does not take no for an answer and believes in taking positive action to achieve the desired results. Her work at the UN has provided her many opportunities to travel to Africa, which has allowed her to share her unique talents as an international economist and social development practitioner and a UN training officer. Mary is a strong believer in gender equality and strives towards building a better future for tomorrow's children. Mary is an outstanding president of the HCQC AA USA and chairs the Grand Reunion Steering Committee 2021. Ladies and gentlemen, all the way from New York via satellite, please welcome Mary Simmons. Mary, you are muted. Mary, I think you're muted.
Sorry. Okay, I'll start again. Mr. Keith Tony Marshall, former ambassador to the United Nations. Dr. Christopher Hackett, former ambassador to the United Nations. Madam Justice Sonia Richards, Senator Elizabeth Thompson, Miss Barbara Cook-Aline, Registrar of the Supreme Court, Sir Trevor Hassel, Sir Trevor Carmichael, Dame Billy Miller, Lady Ann Hewitt, Lady Denise Douglas, Lady Stella St. John, Dr. David Brown, Dr. Martin Allen, Dr. Alan Emtich, members of the steering committee of the HCQC Alumni Network, in person and online, esteemed alumni of Harrison College and Queens College, specially invited guests, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, all other protocols duly observed. As I gaze around the room, I'm overwhelmed with the realization of what our education system has produced and to see that the pipeline continues to flourish. It is the same feeling I had when I perused the finished product of this inaugural book that we are launching this evening. One of our members said, and this is only a slice of the product of 2 schools. Imagine if we could gold mine all the schools. It would be representative of the vision of our forefathers as they set out to build our nation. So I want to start by emphasizing why we as a network are doing what we do. First, I wish to emphasize our support for education. Let's look at the purpose of education. Education, everyone, not only secures individual personal life, but collectively contributes to the development of a more reliable nation and world. When we look back to the pre-independence era, most Barbadians of color, no matter how bright they were, could not access education. Today, no matter one's station in life or one's ethnicity, the policies of our country have made it possible for all children to have access to education. Today, I wish to emphasize the importance of that this publication plays in celebrating education. And I wish to emphasize the benefits of education and the role that the schools are playing under the leadership of the principals in imparting education. Education has key benefits, including helping students and indeed our population to think clearly. It acquaints youngsters with the atmosphere around them. It encourages them to be more mindful of their strengths and flaws and teaches them to drive their focus in the right direction. It helps students develop the courage to face any situation. Education teaches children that failure is not an end. They should try until they succeed and never give up. It fuels their determination to live in the world autonomously and encounter any circumstances bravely. It teaches values and delivers equality. To quote Frederick Douglass, it is easier to build strong children than to repair broken men. Education also infuses moral values and frames character from an early age, helping children develop honesty, kindness, generosity, courage, freedom, equality, and respect. It frames better behavior and adds discipline. These values standardize dignity and equality in our nation, the region, and the world by warding off the gaps between social classes. Education is thus central to generating equal opportunities in every field, and not only in our nation, but worldwide. It ensures a secure and better future. To quote Benjamin Franklin, he stated that an investment in education returns the best interest. Education is thus a fruit-bearing tree, which once grown fully will bear fruits and serve you throughout life. And that's what we are supporting, this fruit-bearing tree. So a byproduct of education is role models that inspire. This room and online, we have role models that inspire, and we welcome you all here today. We hope that this publication will continue to inspire those who follow for generations to come, and that this will be the first of many capturing achievements that inspire. The second purpose of our work as a network, and as stated for this publication, is to raise funds for the improvement campaign. Now, we have not yet reached the stage of creating endowments that complement the budgets of schools. However, the experiences in other countries show that where endowments have been created, where extra support is given to public institutions, it enables students to engage in new areas and to expand their skills. And they also allow the schools to apply new teaching methods that benefit the students and the schools. So our dream is to create an endowment that would provide an infinite source of revenue for the schools, but we are not there yet. However, the special projects that were identified by the schools are a beginning, and we are hoping to help to enhance critical infrastructure of the schools that will help the schools to enhance their ability to provide quality education. You will see that our improvement campaign focuses on the sciences at both schools and can lead to enhancing the possibility of students to engage in not only the sciences, but engineering, mathematics, and also the arts. So that way, the schools are able to produce well-rounded individuals who are capable of learning and adapting in any situation and succeed in endeavors of their choice, while at the same time contributing to national, global, regional, and national, regional, and global priorities. Ultimately, establishing an endowment will ensure that the schools have trusted revenue streams and can focus on education. We know that your support to this publication and indirectly to the projects will ensure that the work of the schools have a positive impact on society. Every contribution to the publication makes you a part of a big project that we have embarked on. In addition, we feel that the initiative has set a good example for similar initiatives that can only contribute to the growth of our nation. This project is also important for the children and younger students to see that acts of kindness and generosity make a difference, and that one day they too can follow this example. The work we have embarked on will certainly contribute to creating enduring institutions. Lastly, undertaking such initiatives cannot be done without teamwork and leadership. Today, we celebrate the leadership of Grant Morris, who made the suggestion about the publication of this book. And the teamwork is the foundation of success that we are celebrating today. To quote Steve Jobs, great things are never done by one person. They're done by a team of people. It is thanks to the steering committee members who are part of the organizing committee, as well as the students who are assisting today, as well as the schools who continue to engage with us, identify the projects, but also do their work in grooming students that will contribute to the future. In the words of Michael Jordan, talent wins games, but teamwork and intelligence wins championships. Our goal is to win the championship. Thank you.
People are still streaming in. We don't have. Of this commemorative publication. You will be blown away. Please welcome now Grant Morris. Who only flew in yesterday to be here for this occasion.
I think it was because of Cheryl and Barbara Chiloff. They ganged up against me with my better half when she told me I have to be here today. So I do as I'm told. This evening, I will give you some background on the conception of this publication. Carzonians and Queens Collegians have made their mark both in their homeland and their adopted countries worldwide. This commemorative publication brings to the fore the outstanding contributions and achievements of graduates of both schools. The steering committee was formed for the purpose of establishing a reunion of graduates from both schools. This reunion was slated to be held in Barbados in October of 2020, but was postponed due to COVID-19. The steering committee recommended that 10 Knight of Stars awardees be chosen, including 2 special awardees, which they would select by consensus. Unannounced at the reunion in 2021. To establish this list of 8 awardees, a special subcommittee was formed, headed by David Cutting, Helen Thorne, Cheryl Phillips, myself, and Vivian Ann Richards as members. Given the excellent caliber of the graduates of the 2 schools, it was felt that to recognize only 10 awardees at the reunion would not in any way do justice to the large number of graduates who have excelled in their respective fields worldwide. As a follow-up to this, I indicated that it would be more appropriate to establish a commemorative publication to include as many biographies as possible of our outstanding alumni. This suggestion was accepted by the steering committee, and I agreed to champion the responsibility for the preparation, the publication, the design, and printing. This preparation of the publication includes some 360 biographies, many from Barbados, Canada, USA, UK, and others. These biographies are broken down into the following 8 categories: business and financial services, education, law, medium and creative and performing arts, medicine and health, public, international and community services, science and technology, and sports. Each country association was given the responsibility of collecting and editing their biographies and submitting same to myself in Canada, with the editor preparing the draft manuscript for submission to Excite Media for design presentation. Although many of our graduates have not submitted their biographies in time to be included in this publication, nonetheless, we expect that they will be included in a future publication. We also anticipate that for this commemorative publication, we were going to print 500 copies, but we decided afterwards to print 300 copies for a start, just to make sure that they were all being sold. It is expected that this publication will serve as a valuable source of qualified graduates as a research document, and in addition, it will serve as a role model for the younger students attending our 2 schools. Our aim is to inspire current students, and if nothing else, will show them what a combination of a great foundation, exceptional guidance, and shared determination can accomplish. Now, in preparing this book, we have a number of challenges. I got sick, I was in hospital for about 2 months. That didn't stop me. And somebody's looking after me. But one of the biggest challenges we had was that a number of the books, a number of the bios were sent, but I never received them, about 50 of them. And Anne St. John said to me, well, I sent them to you. How come you didn't get them? I said, well, I haven't seen them. So that meant that since the book was organized in alphabetical order, it meant that the girls had to go back every time this happened to redo the book. And you can imagine doing that about 4 times. And they were not happy campers, but they insisted that if you're going to do it right, then they're going to make sure that we do it in alphabetical order. And as a result, I think that they have done a superb job in putting this book together. Now, although they are not from Harrison College or King's College, their father was a Harzonian. So as far as they're concerned, they are Harzonian by blood. So if you look at the final page of the document, you will see that a very interesting writing that they have produced. Now, it has been my pleasure to produce this book. It has been tough going, but it helped me to understand that although I didn't do well in school, as Mr. Trouble would know, it made me realize that that the benefit of a good education at Harrison College, and I don't think that I can ever thank the school for what I received and all the leadership training that I had. I have Sir Charles, my patrol leader, he would tell you that. And we went on many trips together. But for that, I want to say welcome to everyone, and it's a pleasure to see you, to see all of you here today. Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah, thank you so much, Grant. And we cannot thank you enough for producing this, what I really think is a great masterpiece. This will be with us for decades, if not longer. Well, at any book launch, there are always readings by the author, and our launch bill will be slightly different. Many hands have gone into creating this volume, so it is only fitting that different voices be heard in reading the excerpts. Our first guest today is Sir Trevor Carmichael, economist, lawyer, businessman, author, philanthropist, and environmentalist who attended Harrison College from 1950s, or he left in 1956. So Trevor represents the quintessence of the active and activist citizen. Activist, not in the sense of any ideological commitment, but of the persistent advocacy of the betterment of the society in which he lived. Educated at HC, he went on to undergraduate studies at the University of the West Indies at Mona, Jamaica. So Trevor is mostly regarded as a lawyer, but his undergraduate study was economics with an emphasis on international relations. Postgraduate studies took him to Ohio in the USA, where he gained his master's degree and doctoral studies at Wayne State University in Michigan, finally acquiring his law degree in England. Today, he is known as an economist, a lawyer, a businessman, author, philanthropist, and environmentalist. However, it is as a driving force in Barbados' financial services sector and as an advocate of renewable energy that Sir Trevor is now most active. He was also the founder chairman of the Barbados Youth Business Trust, and for 30 years has served as the chairman of the United World Colleges Committee for Barbados. In November of 1992, Sir Trevor was a recipient in the National Honors List for his contribution to law, financial services, and to the preservation of the national heritage. Sir Trevor was awarded the Knight of St. Andrew in the 2013 Barbados Independence Honors. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Sir Trevor Carmichael, who will read the foreword and an extract from Barbados Independence written by Jean Holder. Sir Trevor.
Thank you, and good evening. Let me first say that I'm very honored to have been asked to read excerpts from this important commemorative publication. It's important for, this is not part of the script, but it's important for so many reasons, many of which have been elaborated here. And I wish to give my personal thanks to Mr. Grant Morris, because I know he works so tirelessly to do so many good things, and very often not known. And that's always a good way, by the way. But there's sometimes when it ought to be known. And this is a good occasion to say it. And it's a good occasion for us to recognize it in this wonderful publication, which he has produced.
and produced so well. My job is a very easy one this afternoon. It's just to read two pieces from the publication. And let me say, I'm very honored to have been asked to read excerpts from the publication. Now, there are two excerpts I've been asked to read. The first is the foreword to the book, and the second is taken from the essay written by the late Dr. Jean Holder, and that's entitled to Barbados Independence. But the first one I begin with, and that is the foreword, which is written by Barbara Treloff Dean, and indeed a very insightful and interesting foreword. I start now with her words. The measurement of success is not in scholarship and degrees alone, but it is in the content of your human character. And that's a quotation from the Honorable Mia Moore-Motley, with which Dr. Treloff Dean starts her piece. Going into Dr. Treloff Dean now. Education, the bedrock of opportunity, has been one of the major pillars leading to the advancement of Barbadians and to the development of Barbados in niche areas on the world stage. Great schools of tradition, legacy, lifetime relationships, and opportunities for students to develop not only valuable intellectual, critical thinking and communication skills, but also relationship skills and character. Character is forged on the playing fields, in the schoolhouses, in the classroom, at assembly, and during break. It is against such a backdrop that Harrison College and Queen's College Commemorative publication recognizes these two outstanding coeducational schools and their long, rich history and tradition, dating as far back as 1733 in the case of Harrison College, which fostered an environment of academic excellence and social impact. This volume also notably serves to showcase outstanding alumni for their scholastic achievements and contributions to society at home and abroad, predominantly in the United States, Canada, and the United Kingdom. Those alumni who set the foundation for today did not have the benefits of technology or global mobility. They were pioneers, paving the way, in many instances, having to overcome social barriers to advancement. We now draw on a cadre of accomplished alumni, international leaders in education, academia, medicine, politics, the arts, and business, philanthropy, sports, and journalism. These alumni are also role models, both inspirational and aspirational, encouraging today's students of Harrison College and Queen's College to strive for excellence. Looking ahead, it has been well noted that we are at a time of tremendous global opportunity, the fourth industrial revolution, where technology is accelerating growth and change across many sectors and aspects of human life. Its pace driven by technological, social, and economic demands created by the pandemic. More than ever, we must rely on our educational system to provide the intellectual and social environment for young Barbadians to be competitive global citizens. And she ends as she began in the inspiring words of Prime Minister Motley. Students today have the opportunity to be a global citizen with Barbadian roots. You have the opportunity to decide and define what your purpose can be, unconstrained by geographical boundaries, because of what technology affords you. If the world is now your oyster, what is the most important asset that you must carry with you? I want to suggest that it is that commitment to the pursuit of truth and excellence. And now we move on to the second excerpt. A very interesting one. It's taken from another good friend, deceased, Dr. Gene Holder, and it's his essay entitled Barbados Independence. And it can be found at page 554. See, I'm sticking to the rules of the afternoon. I'll give you the page number, page 554. And here Gene begins. There were some extraordinary influences on the life of young Errol Barrow, which almost preordained him to seek a career in politics with a commitment to radical social change. Errol Walton Barrow was born on the 21st of January, 1921, at the Garden St. Lucie. His parents were the Reverend Reginald Grant Barrow and the former Ruth O'Neill, sister of medical practitioner Dr. Charles Duncan O'Neill, political activist, and later one of Barbados's national heroes. After practicing medicine in England for a few years and becoming involved in British politics, Dr. O'Neill returned to Barbados, where, with the support of journalist Glenn Witham, he formed the Democratic League to deal with the terrible social conditions of the day. In the meantime, Errol's father, the Reverend Reginald Grant Barrow, that is, was making waves of his own as a priest of the Anglican Church. He offended both the establishment of the church and the wider social establishment by preaching from the pulpit of St. Lucie's Parish Church. And he preached about the plight of the poor Black people in Barbados and the need to remedy that situation. Errol Barrow was already 27 years old when he entered the London School of Economics, the LSE, and the Inns of Court as well in 1947. He had already been in the Royal Air Force for 7 years, 2 of which were spent in occupied Germany. During that period, he was appointed personal navigator to Air Chief Marshal Sir Sholto Douglas, later Lord Douglas of Pertleside. By a happy coincidence, also attending LSE at the time as Barrow were Michael Manley of Jamaica, Forbes Burnham of British Guyana, Pierre Trudeau of Canada, and Lee Kuan Yew of Singapore, all of whom became lifelong friends. One of their professors at LSE was the famous British socialist, Professor Harold Lasky, very much seen by the Americans as a communist. Each of the students named above were greatly influenced by Lasky's teaching, but each of them became either president or prime minister of their own country, instituted very different socialist models of government there. In 1950, Barrow returned to Barbados and immediately joined the Barbados Labour Party, led by Grantley Adams. It was not a marriage made in heaven. And within 5 years, Barrow and some other colleagues, including Cameron Tudor and Frederick Smith, termed the Young Turks, separated from the BLP and started a new party called the Democratic Labour Party, the DLP. The years Barrow had spent in the war and at LSE had made it difficult to follow the Adams model, which may be described as going along to get along. He and Adams were 2 entirely different types of individuals in search of different things. On 15th of April, 1955, Mr. Barrow informed Parliament of his intention to break with the Barbados Labour Party. The rebels adopted a constitution on the 27th of April, 1955, and the Democratic Party was formally launched with Mr. Frederick Smith as chairman, Mr. Cameron Tudor as general secretary. Mr. Barrow contested and lost his St. George seat in Parliament in 1956, but was re-elected in a by-election in St. John in 1958 and made the leader of the DLP. And the rest is history. And indeed, I am now history because this is the end of the second meeting. And I suggest that if you want to learn more about Barbados' independence, there are a lot of publications on the subject, some of which I'm very familiar with. But I suggest to you, rather than go to that expenditure, go to page 554. 554 in this important commemorative publication. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Sir Trevor. Our second reading is by Dr. Sharon Milagro Marshall, alumna of Queen's College. Dr. Sharon Milagro Marshall is an award-winning journalist. Many of you know her, corporate communications professional and author. We actually went to school together. She was just slightly younger than me. This career trajectory began during her formative years at Hinesbury Primary School, where her skills in composition and public speaking were nurtured. From there, she entered Queen's College in 1967 and was often the winner in fierce competition to be first in form in English. Forum captain, secretary treasurer of the Literary and Debating Society, member of the Photographic Society and the Drama Club were part of Sharon's active student life at Queen's College. She had several roles in plays and pantomimes, and sometimes had more than one role in the same production. I'm sure Daphne Joseph Hackett loved Sharon. Dr. Marshall left in 1973 for A-level studies at the Barbados Community College. Following this, she moved to the USA to pursue university studies. She earned a Bachelor of Arts degree, summa cum laude, in radio production with a minor in literature from Howard University. Sharon returned to Barbados and broadcasting in 1981, taking up a position with CBC, and later became the first woman to be appointed Director of News and Current Affairs. Moving on to the Caribbean Broadcasting Union as Manager of Program Operations, she was one of the presenters of the regionally syndicated TV magazine program, Caribscope. The highlight of her career was an exclusive interview with none other than Cuban President Fidel Castro. Her public speaking skills have been engaged by public and private sector event planners. The Barbados government has used her services in the capacity of Master of Ceremonies for national events, such as the historic swearing-in ceremony for the Barbados Cabinet in May 2018. These are just some of the highlights of our next reader. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Sharon Milagro Marshall.
Thank you very much, Cheryl. This afternoon, I'll be reading excerpts from the section titled Icons. Our first icon and alumna of Queen's College is Her Excellency Dame Sandra Mason, President of the Republic of Barbados and former Governor General of Barbados. Dame Sandra Prunella Mason was born on the 17th of January, 1949 in East Point, St. Philip. On leaving the St. Catherine's Primary School at age 9, she attended Queen's College, where she successfully obtained 7 GCE O-levels and A-level qualifications in French and English. Dame Sandra began her career as a teacher at the Princess Margaret Secondary School. She later worked at Barclays Bank, DCO Barbados, and was promoted to Trust Administrator. She was later transferred to Barclays Bank Jamaica Limited, subsequently returned to Barbados and continued her banking career with Barclays Finance Corporation. She entered the University of the West Indies Cape campus, obtaining a Bachelor of Laws and subsequently a Certificate of Legal Education from the Hugh Wooding Law School in Trinidad. She became the first Barbadian female attorney at law to have graduated from Hugh Wooding. In 1978, Her Excellency was assigned as a magistrate of the Juvenile and Family Court, while simultaneously tutoring in family law at UE, following a brief stint as an attorney at law in private practice. In 1998, she completed a course in judicial administration at the Royal Institute of Public Administration, London, and a course in alternative dispute resolution at the University of Windsor, Canada, and Stickfield Hendy Houston ADR Limited in 2000. In 2001, she completed a fellowship at the Commonwealth Judicial Education Institute in Canada and advanced courses in alternative dispute resolution with the University of the West Indies and the University of Windsor. She served on the UN Committee on the Rights of the Child from its inception in 1991 until 1999, serving as both chair and vice chair. She was also one of 2 women who were appointed to the 13-member CARICOM Commission charged with evaluating regional integration. She was a member of many other civic and Commonwealth organizations, including president of the Commonwealth Secretariat Arbitrary Tribunal, UK, the first Barbadian appointed to CSAC and the first female president. Chairman of the Community Legal Services Commission, member of the Judicial and Legal Services Commission, and member and former vice chairman of the Royal Commonwealth Society. Her Excellency served as Barbados's ambassador to Venezuela, Chile, Colombia, and Brazil for the period 1993 to 1994. Upon her return to Barbados, she was appointed as chief magistrate and later became the registrar of the Supreme Court. She served as registrar until 2005, when she was appointed to the Inner Bar of Barbados as Queen's Counsel. Later that year, she was appointed as a High Court judge of the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court, where she served until 2008, when she was sworn in as the first female Court of Appeal judge of the Supreme Court of Barbados. After an illustrious legal career, Dame Sandra was appointed the 8th Governor General of Barbados. Members of Parliament from all sides of the political divide. Naturally, many robust discussions on politics, economics, and current affairs took place in the Linden Court living room, within earshot of the receptive young Prime Minister-to-be. Very often, Mia Amor listened attentively and unobtrusively from her bedroom door. This was indeed a rich, unauthorized childhood education for one destined to become Prime Minister of Barbados. Mia Amor's intellectual gift revealed itself quite early. She learned to read with no urging and minimal adult intervention. At 4 years old, she could confidently break into syllables and pronounce the headlines of the Barbados Advocate newspaper. Early childhood tales and nursery rhymes held little appeal and were easily trumped by the lure of information on local, regional, and international affairs. At Maryvale Primary School, Mia Amor shone both in academic attainment and leadership ability. Frequently head of her class, she captained the school's mini cricket team, on which she held the secure place as the only girl. School principal, Mrs. Carrington, now Dame Avicine, lovingly remembers Mia as an amazing and popular student. In turn, Mia reflects on her primary school experiences as most enjoyable, and she places Mrs. Carrington first on her list of mentors. A flawless performance on the examination for transfer from primary to secondary school merited this gifted student a place at Queen's College. Principal Dame Elsie Payne, spotting Mia Amore's acumen, facilitated her progression through the school at maximum speed, with a double promotion from first to third form, and permission to complete the 2-year advanced level qualification in 1 year. Mia Amore entered the London School of Economics at age 17. There, she flourished in the strong academic environment while benefiting from the opportunity to build an international network of peers. She gained her LLB at LSE and was called to the bar at Middle Temple. After returning to Barbados in 1987, she set up her law practice and worked in many areas of the law while awaiting an opportunity to enter the political arena. In 1991, Mia Amore was awarded a prestigious fellowship to join a group of promising young leaders to be mentored at George Washington University in Washington, D.C., USA. However, within days of her entering Georgetown, an election was called in Barbados, and the enticement of the imminent political campaign proved irresistible for the young aspirant, who chose to cut short her enrollment at the Ivy League establishment to enter the political fray in Barbados as a member of the Barbados Labour Party. With short preparation time and little practical experience, Mia Amore performed creditably, but fell short by less than 50 votes in her bid to secure the St. Michael Northeast constituency on which she had set her sights. This promising initial performance was rewarded by Mia Amore's being chosen to fill one of 2 Senate seats reserved in the upper house for the opposition Barbados Labour Party, of which she was an enthusiastic member. In her second campaign attempt, 3 years later, in 1994, Mia Amore convincingly won her cherished St. Michael Northeast constituency seat. She was appointed in the new administration as one of the youngest persons to serve in a ministerial position. She held the portfolio of education, youth affairs, and culture. And you can continue to follow the brilliant career path of the Honorable Mia Amore Motley on page 56 of the Commemorative publication. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sharon Milagro Marshall. I swear, I shouldn't do that, but I am sure that she can read the yellow pages and make it sound really interesting. Thanks again, Sharon. So before we get on to our next reader, there was a Barbadian father who left school at the age of 15. And he went on a camping trip with his educated son who had a PhD in astronomy. And they set up their tent on the East Coast. Some hours later, the father wakes up his son and he says, "Look up in the sky and tell me what you see." So the son said, "I see millions of stars." So the father said, "Well, what does that tell you, son?" The son said, "Astronomically, it tells me there are millions of galaxies and planets in our solar system." The father remained silent for a moment and then said, "No, you nincompoop, somebody teach me 10. Speaker this afternoon is David Gittins, cybersecurity consultant, Barbados scholar who attended Harrison College 1977 to 1984. David Gittins is an experienced and highly trained qualified cybersecurity consultant with over 30 years of combined work in cybersecurity, project management, and information.
His working background involves evaluating the cybersecurity posture of countless organizations in Europe and North America, as well as providing security oversight for a large number of HCC projects in the Caribbean and North America. He has held senior positions in information security organizations, including the Information Systems Security Association Barbados Chapter and the Anti-Fraud Committee of the Barbados Bankers Association. In addition to working in his consulting practice, he's also involved in a range of volunteer activities within Barbados. These include working with the Harrison College PTA. David is a proud alumnus of Harrison College, along with his three oldest children, Debbie, Sharon, and Giovanni. His wife, Wendy, and daughter are Queen's College alumni, and Wendy received a Barbados Scholarship and Barbados Exhibition, respectively, in 1985. David and Sharon, two of his children, also received their Barbados scholarships a few years ago. Isn't that incredible? And is expected, and Giovanni is expected to receive the same scholarship very shortly. So please welcome David Higgins. I don't know, David, maybe you should tell us how you groomed three kids to end up with Barbados scholars and keeping on yourself and your wife. Amazing story, which you can find where in the community publication. Page to come.
Good evening, thank you very much. My reading today is by Rob Gemmer on Supply International Cricket Legend of the famous W's. He attended Harrison College 1939 to 1947. Now, Supply is arguably the best cricket that Harrison College has produced. Like many Harizonians at the time, he actually started his secondary education at Commemorative School, which he entered in 1937, and which his older brother Chief also attended. At Commemorative, he came on to the influence of masters Derek Sealing and Stanton Gittins, who themselves had established considerable sporting achievements. He transferred to Harrison and Clyde soon followed. He immediately distinguished himself as an ardent sportsman. In fact, Clyde Walker's sporting record at Harrison College was probably second to none. In cricket, he scored a number of centuries in the years 1941 to 1944, including his share of 185 in a 292-run partnership with Cecil Boogie Williams, who made 120. As a bowler, most to pass in 3 years, he took 7 wickets for 29 runs. He also began to keep wicket, partly with the need of holding his place in the Harrison College team, which was loaded with cricketing talent. He represented Harrison College at soccer, playing first and later fullback. What is less well known is that he was declared Victor in athletics in 1943 and 1944. And he has a record for throwing cricket ball 121 yards, 2 feet and 6 inches. So Clyde is probably not another most of the famous W's, that included Sir Afton Weeks and Sir Frank Rowe. The debate will be, but to say something who the greatest of the 3 W's, some point to Frank Rowe, for his style, having Sir Afton Weeks for his masterly skillfulness as a batsman. At the next 100 years of Barbados in Barbados, 1892 to 1992 states, Sir Clyde Walker set up for what the author called consistency in the years that he played. Walker represented Barbados at the early age of 12, and at 19, he scored 340 not out in an unbroken partnership with Frank Rowe, playing for Barbados against Trinidad. His actual test debut came in 1948 in the match West Indies versus England, played in Barbados. All 3 W's, Weeks, Royal, and Walker played in that 1948 first match. In the West Indies 1940 to 48 of England, the club showed that the talent, he would show the talent that would really distinguish him as one of the world's greatest international cricketers. He hit 152 in the first test in Delhi, followed by 68 in the second test in Bombay, and 108 in the third contest in Calcutta. On that tour, he amassed 452 runs for an average of 65.57. In 1950, the West Indies made the longest strike to of England. In the second test at Lord's, Walker hit 168 not out when the West Indies achieved their very first test match win over England in England. It was on this tour that Walker sort of still as a wicketkeeper. Standing up to the world spin of the Spain train, Sunny Ramadan, and Al Valentine. On that 1950 tour, he scored 1,674 first-class runs, including 7 centuries, for an average of 55.80. In 1953, India visited the West Indies. In the second test played in Barbados, Walker made 98. In the fourth test, in what was then British Guyana, he scored 125, ending the series with 180 at Sabina Park in Jamaica, and concluding the tour with an average of 76.16. The English team came to the West Indies in 1953 to 54, and Walker was again in fine form. He hit 65 in the first test in Jamaica, and a double century in the second encounter at Kensington Oval in Barbados. History playing in that match with the highest scoring test regarded as one of his best. He followed this up with 124 and 51 not in Trinidad in the fourth test, and 50 and 116 in the final game back in Jamaica. At the end of the 1953 to 54 English tour, Walker has scored an enviable 698 runs with an impressive average of 87.25. In 1954 to 55, the Australians came to the Caribbean. The attraction of the visitor center with fearsome part by that time, playing Walker was taken out. The only batsman in the cricket. He firmly to the teams on Australia to scoring 5 centuries in 2 tests against the Hawks of the 2 space days, and the spinner Richard Bernal among others. In the first test at Sabina Park in Jamaica, he hit 108 and touched 3 wickets for 50 runs. In the second game in Trinidad, he scored 2 centuries, 126 in the first innings and 110 in the second. In the third test in British Guyana, 72. And at Kensington Oval in Barbados, in the fourth match of the series, he hit 83. At the final test back in Jamaica, he scored 155 and 110, becoming the first batsman to score a century in each inning of the cricket test. He ended in 1955. 54 to 55 Australian tour of the West Indies with an average of 82.70. This was probably played Walker at his supreme best. When Pakistan came to the region in 57 to 58, Walker scored 385 runs for an average of 96.25, including 145 in the first test in Guyana. At the end of the English tour, the West Indies in 59 to 60, Clay Walker returned for the international game, for which he had contributed so much. After retiring from Test cricket, he served a number of years as a cricket coach in Guyana before returning to Barbados to serve on the board of directors of the Barbados Shipping and Trading until his retirement at the age of 65. Thank you very much for your attention. This was written by, I would say, one of my former t-shirt. It's not mine, it's Mr. Ralph Gemma, but he was so I hope I did justice to his reading. So, and I certainly learned a lot from the one of our legends today, Clay Walker. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, David. He sat in just a year or so ago, so I really want to say thank you. Really appreciate that. So you met David. You've heard of his accomplished family, and it's now time to meet his daughter, Sharon. Sharon Gittins is a young alumna of both Harrison College and Queen's College. She attended Harrison College from first to fifth form, where she was an active member of the Interschool Christian Fellowship. I remember that. I actually went to camp at the Queen. I nearly drowned. And but I digress. And she was a member of the school orchestra where she played saxophone. She then completed her sixth form education at Queen's College, where she studied chemistry, biology, and pure mathematics at K level. While at her husband's institution, Sharon competed in several speech competitions and was involved in community service as a member of the Interact Club. In upper sixth form, she was the president of the Interact Club, the president of the ISCF, and served as a deputy head girl. In 2018, she graduated from secondary school and attained a Barbados Government Scholarship for achieving all grade ones in her key subjects. She then went on to pursue tertiary level studies at the University of Waterloo in Ontario, Canada. While there, she continued to get involved where she could. Some of her volunteer positions include University of Waterloo Science Ambassador and Psychology Research Assistant, among many others, throughout her 4 years at the university. She graduated in October 2022 with a Bachelor's of Science in Honors Psychology with Biology and returned to Barbados. She currently plans to pursue further education, but while back home, she works to give back to the organizations such as this and to the nation, which has sold into her over the past 22 years. Some of Sharon's hobbies include playing the steel pen and waiting. Sharon attended, as you heard, both Harrison College and Queen's College, so it's only appropriate that she should read excerpts on both schools. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Sharon Kittens.
Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to spending some time reading some excellent articles. The first reading is taken from Harrison College, an Institution of Excellence, by Miss Juanita Wade, Principal of HC. Harrison College, located at Compton Street, Bridgetown, was founded in 1733 by Bridgetown merchant Thomas Harrison. The school was led by successive headmasters, started with Thomas Wharton in 1733 until 2014, when the first female principal, Juanita Wade, was assigned. Harrison College has had a long tradition of academic excellence, sporting prowess, renowned cultural ambassadors, and a history of giving service to the community, to the country Barbados, and to the world. The school has produced illustrious sons, and after the first girls were enrolled in 1980, daughters of the soil, who have made and continue to make contributions to the country and the world at large. These contributions can be as varied as in the fields of medicine, engineering, scientific research, art, literature, information technology, dance, music, history, and business, to name a few. Among many others, we are especially proud of the Harrisonians, Mr. Alan Heritage, inventor of the first search engine Archie, and Mr. Obadiah Thompson, Barbados' first individual Olympic Games medalist. Old Harrisonians, as our old scholars are familiarly known, have served locally with distinction as doctors, visual artists, musicians, nurses, doctors, teachers, chief justices, governors general, and prime ministers. Over the years, Harrison College has produced 6 prime ministers and 4 governors general. So how have our students reached these heights in so many varied disciplines? We encourage our students to be well-rounded, capable of giving their best in any sphere of endeavor. Over the past 10 years, the school has produced 11 Aubrey Palmer Scholars, 105 Barbados Scholars, and 102 Barbados Exhibitioners. We expect 98% of our graduating students each year to access tertiary education in Barbados, United States, Canada, England, China, France, Australia, and several other countries around the world. In addition to the 3 campuses of the University of the West Indies, our students usually attend universities such as Guelph, MIT, Georgia Tech, Princeton, St. George's University, King's College, the University of Waterloo, Beijing Institute of Technology, York University, McMaster University, the University of Plymouth, McGill University, and the University of Toronto. We even have a former student in Czechoslovakia at the University of Veterinary Medicine and Pharmacy studying veterinary medicine, and one at the University of Groningen in the Netherlands. The opportunities are endless, and our students are not shy to seek further education in far off and sometimes exotic places. And Harrison College today, the emphasis on academic achievement begins from the time students enter the school. They are encouraged to aim to attain a place on the principal's honor roll by gaining a set number of grades each term. And those who make it twice in one academic year qualify to receive an honor pin. These pins are highly sought after and are proudly displayed on students' uniforms. In order to celebrate academic excellence, the honor roll certificates and pins are presented at some assemblies so that the students have their moments in the spotlight and that they understand the value which is placed on academic achievement. But to be rounded students that we expect them to be, each student is also expected to get involved in at least one extracurricular activity for personal development, especially those where the main aim is to give service. Most students take up that challenge and get involved in several activities, sometimes taking them to the national and international level. Activities which fall into this category include cadets, Girl Guides, Boy Scouts, Culinary Club, State Band Orchestra, Hot Band, Key Club, Builders Club, Environmental Club, Debating Society, and College Liberators, to name some. Two which stand out are the Key Club and the Debating Society. Please read page 142 for the rest of this informative article on HC, an institution of excellence. Our next reading is from QC, Continued Contribution to Nation Building by Dr. David Brown, Principal. Queen's College Barbados is known as a school of excellence locally, regionally, and perhaps internationally. Our alumni can be found in every area of human endeavor, all over the world, carrying the lights of knowledge, skills, and research for the benefit of human civilization. We are proud of our legacy and pledged to continue our contribution to the nation-building projects of Barbados. At Queen's College, we have been stressing to our students that they live on a small island, but their intellectual capacities are almost limitless. In short, the children of their age in any part of the world have no mental, psychological, cognitive, or intellectual superiority over them. Inculcating such a feeling of confidence in our students became a matter of urgency at the turn of the 21st century. As an effective school, for example, we kept close watch on the 21st century skills debates. We heard about the urgency to turn out from our institutions students with the qualities of cooperation, collaboration, sympathy, empathy, cultural awareness, problem solving, and critical thinking. We therefore adopted the ideal Caribbean person concept in 2010. At our full assembly, year level assembly, and form assembly, we incorporated these precepts of the ideal Caribbean person in our values-based education. So along with the theme of the week, we encourage our students to think about the protection of the environment, awareness of cultural and ethnic differences, respect for human life, creative imagination, and self-esteem, to name a few. Along with the Caribbean ideal person, we launched the Drive for Improved Quality Academic Success Initiative in 2009. Even though 50% is a pass mark, we challenged our students to aim for 65%. At CSET, a grade 3 is a pass, but we challenged our students to aim for a grade 1 or 2. We are looking forward to phasing out grade 3 as a passing grade. Queen's College. The K level of grade 5 is a pass that we encourage our students to strive for grades 1 to 3. In short, we have been lifting the standard of academic achievement and we are reaping success. In 2016, we conducted a data-driven decision-making analysis of Queen's College. The results were revealing, so even though we are doing well, we identified areas for improvement. We therefore came up with 16 initiatives for the improvement of our school. Queen's College has celebrated 138 years as a school of excellence. Long may we continue on this trajectory of making a significant contribution to the nation building project in Barbados and human civilization generally. Many alumni of Queen's College are involved in all disciplines around the world. We salute them. We are proud of them. I published a list, though not exhaustive, of the achievements of our 2018 class. Martha Burt attends the University of Portsmouth, UK, and is pursuing a BA in Early Childhood Studies. Katie Ford, University of Kent, UK, and is pursuing a Bachelor's of Science in Actuarial Science. Alana Quinton, University of Essex, UK, and is pursuing a BA in Modern Languages. Tanisha Murray attends St. Augustine, UW, and is set to graduate this year with a BSc in Actuarial Science. Melissa Sighill, York University, Toronto, Canada, pursuing a BA in Cognitive Science. In 2015, Queen's College embarked on a tracer study with the Barbados Government Scholarship and Exhibition winners of that year. In 2015, Queen's College won a total of 32 national awards. It was the negative comments of some pundits that stimulated us to embark on the study. These pundits argued that the high achievers made little contribution to the national development, that they are self-centered and that they're not profound thinkers. In essence, we got the impression that the students of Harrison College and Queen's College had done some wrong because of their high academic achievement that year. And on page 151, you will find the continuation of this excellent article. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Sharon. And there ends our readings. As you can tell, that was just a snippet of what's in the 650 page book. So now I'm going to throw it out. Let's get some audience interaction. If anybody has any questions of Grant or Mary Simmons, Mary's back on Zoom, I believe, and if anybody has any questions to them, I Grant, you want to come up for that? So I think the one question that we have of Mary, well, let's start with Grant until we get Mary out. Is Grant, what plans are for the printing of the book? And is it too early to start thinking of this? No, I think of the second edition.
Well, first of all, let's go and get over this one. As we know, we wrote more than 2,500 copies and we decided to get safe and printed 300 copies. Now we're expecting that those 300 books will be sold within the next 2 or 3 months. I understand that Barbados is also Welsh. Now, I said to Mary that I would like to see more books sold in Canada and the United States for economic reasons. What we did, we said we put a price on the book in Canada and 50 Canadian. In US, 150 US, and in Barbados, $150 dollars. Now, we're making about $5 a book in Barbados. So it really doesn't perhaps to sell in Barbados. But we have more people interested in Barbados than anyone else. So we have to take that into account as well. And I understand that from Marie that she's asking to look at printing another 300 books. So that's what we're proposing to do.
Thanks, Grant. Thank you, Grant. Mary, there's someone wants to know, what do you see is the significance of really having this community publication?
Thank you. Thank you, Cheryl, for that question. What do I see as the significance of having this publication? I see three things, as I covered in my statement. The first being to demonstrate the importance of education, which is in the DNA of Barbados. The second is to demonstrate the importance of having role models that will inspire. So this publication would serve not only to underpin education, but also to serve as a tool for students, not only of these two schools, but of other schools, to see that the sky is the limit. And the third is to use it as a tool for raising funds for giving back, for ensuring that these institutions can continue to produce the types of students that we see covered in this book, and the ones that we are going to discover with future publications. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. Any questions? Don't be shy. Gentlemen there.
Is the book available in Canada? No.
Yes, it's right.
So no.
That's right. I'm glad you want to answer that, but we are available in Canada. Absolutely.
Well, carry on, speak to me. Are you doing Barbados? Yeah. Oh, that's fine. What's your name? Well, you're going on, we're not going to see road.
My name is Rick Thomas.
Okay, great. I want to say something here. You know, I've heard Irene mention a lot of this, but you know, we have three people who are instrumentally put together. Barbara, she has a name, and she's my white sister. Okay. And of course, Cheryl Phillips. And Mary Simmons there. They're one of the three people, you know, very instrumental. And you were checking on my tools.
Yeah. So I think, so Richard, to answer your question, yes, we can get a book in Canada. And all you have to do is to see Richard or Roma, give them that information, and we'll ensure that we get it. You need to tell us how to get hold of this so we can get the book to you. And that's actually very smart, because then you don't have to wait 2 months. You could get one in Canada. But it's 135 Canadian, so. Smart people. Okay, thank you very much. Oh, that wants to say, you know, Grant always, if you don't know, he gets the last word.
I can't wait Dr. Anson Young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What we meaning of how we see those by organization. And unfortunately, I didn't see them because her information was sent to me, but partly affected by what we never received.
It's in the cloud.
Is in somewhere in the topic, so. But I did get them from someone in the States that she had already talked to, so thank you very much. And thank you for making my life miserable as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Grant. Thank you, Mary. Excuse me. Thank you to both of them for all that they do for these Charles College and Queen's College. We're going to be relentless in pursuing the goals of the organization that we represent. Ladies and gentlemen, I know it's a great pleasure to bring on stage because I know it's getting late and it's getting dark and we have refreshments for you, let's say. It's a great pleasure to bring on stage Annie Hewitt. And she will present a complimentary book to each school library because we really feel that we students need to see this book. So I don't can we have Dr. Martin McCanny from Deputy Principal at Harrison College, and she's going to accept the commemorative publication for Harrison College. Thank you very much, Dr. Martin. And we'd like now to welcome to the stage Dr. David Brown, Principal at Queen's College. And he's going to accept the book for the Queen's College Library. Thank you. Dr. Brown, can you begin saying that for a second too? Oh, I'm sorry. Can you just stay here for a second? Ladies and gentlemen, I guess you all know by now that Dr. Brown is retiring. And this is his last few days, next week. And we were proud of sad students and teachers and alumni to sorry to see him go. He's done a incredible job at Queen's College, as we've heard. No real minute. Can I get you to cry? Yes, I know. It's hard. I mean, it's heartbreaking because you've done such a great job for the schools. And I know on behalf of the HCQC Alumni Network, we are going to miss you incredibly because you have been such a strong supporter of us. And so we want to say thank you. And what better gift to give you than a 616-page book for you to take with you as you go into retirement? You will have lots of time to read what's in it. Happy retirement and enjoy. And thank you again. Absolutely. She would like to say a few words.
Lord and Sire, thank you very much. I was grateful. I'm going to promote this Monday morning for the assembly. Because the continuously good information that I have always used as a plan to motivate the students. Every Monday morning from this stadium, under our values-based education program, I would always highlight some standing student capacity policy principles as long as we're from Barbados. The idea of setting studies for the students' confidence in going out there and facing the world. I want to say as well, one time I heard a saying when you were the chairman of the board, you said, if you fail to let children through the front door of our learning institutions, they will come in through the back door of our homes. You know, sometimes I sent that out in a memo to parents, and they'll say that I said that the children will be criminals. I never said anything like that. It was just what we did. So thank you also. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Brown. And now call on Rudolph Catlin. Mary Simmons has donated 2 books as well, one to Harrison College and one to Queen's College, so that the library, each library will have 2 copies. And Rudolph is now going to come and present those to He's going to present those again to Dr. Annie and to Dr. Brown. So we now have 2 copies for each store. You can give them to Dr. Annie. And these are compliments of Mary Simmons. Thank you. And then Dr. Brown, can you come back up again? Again, compliments of Mary Simmons. So as many of you know, Harrison College was founded in, anybody knows? Is anybody paying attention? They were 1733. And this year, obviously, if we can do all the math, we're absolutely happy that we can work this out. It's 218 years of excellence. So Harrison College has produced 6 Grammys and Prime Ministers, government generals, CEOs, athletes who have gone on to represent Barbados. The school is really synonymous with excellence. To give us a taste of the celebrations of the children nature is, please welcome Rita Captain. Rita is president of the Old Harrison Society.
Thank you, Carol. And I'm so glad she mentioned athletes in there. I just want to take a second to congratulate the boys on their ring and simply sad. Not that we're making girl, I'm sure we're doing a fantastic job as well. Yeah. So we would have kicked off our 200th anniversary on Sunday. We were doing a church service at St. Matthias in the Hugh Sandford. And then quickly afterwards, you had the culture event, Mosaic, which was really good. And that's going to be purchased in PTA. And I'm so glad to see our president here, Miss Paula Kirsten, and the Trinity of the late Mr. Norman Barrow. So good to see you there. And then we went on address to the school where we usually get students aware of what the Horizon Society does in terms of giving back. And it was well received. Since it was BSAT week and there was a lot of excitement. We then played sports, basketball, cricket, football, where the past versus the present, and it was very, very well. It was very, very well received as usual. On Thursday, we had our Scholars Night, and today we're so happy to be here partnering with the HCQC in this publication. Trust me, I have had many thanks on those Zoom calls. Where we don't play. So coming up, we're gonna have some major events. First of which is fundamentally before I get to that. If anyone has been through the school lately, the solar is in very needs of repair. It's actually not even functioning at the moment. And I've been informed of slowly understand that the school. I was so glad that you brought my attention. And class and MTA as you have taken on the responsibility and they've opted to take on project to raise $80,000 for the school. Yeah. And they're doing a fantastic job so far. We only let them know that 2 weeks ago so far now shirts printed, walking the class and then that's going to be going out. So we're hearing a lot more about that. And our Commemorative, which is in its 3rd year, which is 5K on the road. That's going to be held on May 21st. And the first one, we had over 300 participants and we made front page of the Sun Center. And this year we went to make it bigger and donating these half universities to the scouts as well. So that's going to be a very major event. Next up, we're going to be having on July 1st, and again, the HCQC Alumni, we're going to be having a concert. We have a concert. We're going to have a sort of clash between the schools. But you can stay tuned for that. So we have great musicians between the 2 schools clashing together. So I'm preparing for that as well. And then later on in the year, we're going to be having the market event, which is Night of the Stars. And I know it's not last year or the year before when we had the first one in this dispensation. That was not the first one. I believe that Night of the Stars was a production from, way back in, I think, Jane in the mirror. Those guys would have put on that production, but we decided to continue it. And the first one had, I think, over 700 views, and this is going to be the first one in person. I'm not sure the location is yet, but it looks like it's going to be a good event. So I hope to see all you guys coming over there. Stay tuned for all of the notifications. We're going to be on social media, Instagram, emails, Facebook, whatever. We're going to be promoting this stuff. And before that, we're also going to be having this organization. This is the OHS, this is the organization society. So I love the combination, I love the collaboration. It's so good to be here. It's good to be working with everyone. And I'm glad to see that the schools are, yes, we have our own trade, but we recognize that the play of our business is a lot bigger. And we realize that the play of the students is also good. I think that during the years of COVID, that really showed, because a lot of the students, we assume everyone has internet, everyone has devices. A lot of the students didn't have that. And thanks to the work that we were already implementing and the collaboration, we were able to donate hundreds of those devices to the students so that they could continue their online learning. I thought it was a really great effort. We want to thank Mary, Cheryl, all the guys in the committees for letting that put together. And not only for our schools, we're doing it to at least 6 or 7 other schools as well. So I want to say keep it good work. HCQC Alumni, we want to thank you guys for coming out. We hope to see you guys as part of our celebrations for the 2019. Thank you.
Thanks, Rudy. We know who's going to win that contest between HCQC. I mean, it's on a song. We are going to win. Anyway, I'm going to send listeners today. So, the celebrations are well underway for the 2019th. Thanks for participating and collaborating with you. Today's event is possible through many efforts. Finally, the idea of Grant Morris to produce this publication to aid some efforts of the school. Thank you, Grant. Will seem simple at first blush, but the improvement of work that it took to produce is unquestionable. Thanks to Mary Simmons for her ever-present persistence in ensuring the success of the HCQC network, including this book launch. And St. John, who works tirelessly to ensure all I's are dotted and all T's are crossed, and bringing her tremendous local knowledge and experience to the work that we're doing. Because many of us are still living overseas, and so it was that local knowledge to us. Of course, we are indebted to our leaders, Sir Trevor Carmichael, Dr. Sharon Malgo Marshall, David Hitchens, and his lovely daughter Sharon. As well as the members of the steering committee, including Michelle Daniel, who ushered the ushers, and Kathy Daniel for ensuring that the class arrived. Mr. Blades, Mr. Bradford, Ms. Catlin, and Ms. Harris for ensuring the hall was equipped and ready to go. Thanks to Mary Coulter for the beautiful flower arrangements that you see. We're really indebted to her for doing this. And we'd also like to thank Peter Irwin and his company and caterers for providing the light refreshments that you will, I promise, enjoy in the courtyard in a few minutes. And of course, Jamal, who supported this afternoon's technical production. Again, for those who purchased the commemorative publication, please go to the desk where you love your ones here and that you just met. We'll be happy to take your money, issue receipts, and ensure your copies of the 6 books are passed to you. To expedite the full distribution of the books, kindly have your agreements ready and exact change or check. We also have the option to pay online using the OHS website, and if you need help with accessing the site or the password, if you want to raise your hand or go and see what the ushers will be able to help you. Next to the window is what I call the order desk, and then you can put what is for the next straight run. And like everything else, the cost of that payment is limited to $200. But I think you can see this well worth it. Thank you all very much for coming. Enjoy the rest of this evening. Get your copy of the commemorative publication for those of you who wanted it. I look forward to seeing you. Please get home safely. Thanks very much. Take care.